Welcome to the Smokin Word. Welcome to the Smokin Word.
What's up, everybody? Your boy is back, and I had to come, again, I took a little bit of a break, so I had to come real hard. So, shout out to my boy Marcos Ciega on the last podcast. I hope everybody, if you didn't check that out, go check that out. OG, a movie director, video director, but I had to follow up hard, and I'm glad that it finally happened because we've been trying to make this happen for a second. Listen, the mastermind behind one of California's newest hard hitters on the scene. Listen, this is why. So first of all, everybody welcome Malachi. What's your last name?
Greene.
Oh, Greene, or whatever. I like that color green, by the way. That's one of my favorite colors. But shout out to Malachi Greene. Listen, and I'll say it, a big brain behind Scowl, because shout out to everybody who tuned into that episode. But I heard so much about you. I was like, we got to get Malachi on the show. Because, obviously Kat was showing you mad love, which she better, right? Right?
Yeah.
If she's gonna be the better half of the you two, she better she shouted you out the right way. But on the real, pointing out everything from like the style of music and putting the music together, your name kept coming up, and I said it on that episode. I got to get you on, and I'm glad we finally made it happen. But the axe man behind Scowl, and tell everybody the other bands, because I know you play for a couple other bands. That's bring people up to speed.
I play in a band called Lead Dream. I do vocals in that, and then I play in another band called the Can't Hardlys.
Yeah. And what's that
like
stuff like? Because I'm not familiar with it, but I know you played in in a couple other things.
Lead Dream it's a little heavier. I do that one with Mike from Tsunami,
Dope.
and Benny from Tsunami, Jarrett, who plays in Out of Pocket.
All right.
And I play the Can't Hardlys is more like, I don't know, when we started it, we were just messing around, and that was like Husker Du kind of worship.
Gotcha.
We were listening to that, and like a lot of other like kind of, I guess, like post-punk,
Gotcha.
but like still it was like the gray area days where they're like, it was punk, but they're like, it's kind of more melodic, like
for sure.
Everyone's always trying to classify and put shit in a box, and I don't know. I don't like doing that. So
No, that's cool, because even that was one of the things with Scowl that caught my eye very early on was that you guys were doing a more traditional sound that was getting kind of pushed away. Everything was, I'm a metal guy also. I love the metal crossover stuff or whatever, but it was becoming, a metalcore thing under a hardcore banner, under a punk banner or whatever. Like, it literally went away from, the punk angle of it, and when the whole, obviously, the whole 3-year vacation the world had, spawned a lot of bands. Even if they were around, they kind of gave a good kickstart to that newer generation, which I say you guys are part of. I saw you guys early on. There was two bands early on that stuck out to me, and it was Gulch and it was you guys. And those were two of the first bands I said, I got to get them on. That's why, I take pride that, you guys were bubbling already, but I kind of heard about you before, bubbling. So I feel like, I was kind of up on them already. You know what I mean? And no, because I heard it and I saw it, and I liked where do you come from as far as your whole DNA, as far as heavy music? Because you guys tapped into a sound that your generation, your age bracket. Not that I'm an old guy like that, but it wasn't common for this. Everything was very metallic and NASA metal, and you guys went back to just more just balls and just songs and attitude. What was your thing coming up?
So like, I grew up in like, the way I came into hardcore is through punk and hardcore, because like, to me it was the same. So when I was growing up, my mom was a punk, and she got me into
Oh,
punk. And then
oh shit,
I
that's dope.
always listened to that. So it was one of those things where like I just had already kind of come from it and transitioned into it. And I always had like a broad scope of music. So for me, it was like when I was a kid, I really liked classic punk. Like I was like, oh, I love like the Sex Pistols and Ramones and Misfits and like all that stuff when I was like really young. And then I kept searching and like going down the rabbit hole. And then like I really like one of my favorite bands was like Reagan Youth, and then
Yeah.
obviously like Bad Brains and all that stuff. But I would get these like I remember I would get this Epitaph Punkoramas and go
Yeah, I
through
remember, of
those.
course.
And there was bands like Agnostic Front on there, and there was like you would have Rancid they would like do covers of each other's songs of like NoFX songs and stuff. So I just kind of always I was aware of the bands, but I didn't know the subgenre names until someone was
Yeah,
like, "Yo,
the
you like
connection there.
hardcore?" And I was like, "You mean punk? Like, what do you mean?" And they're
Yeah,
like I was like Gorilla Biscuits, like I love Gorilla, and they're like,
yeah,
yeah, like this type of stuff, and they're like showing me stuff, and then they introduced me to more modern hardcore. Like this was like freshman year of high school,
yeah,
so my homie Brandon was like, dude, do you like this stuff? And they'd show me like Despised Icon, and I was like, oh, this is sick. It kind of is more like a metally, and I came
yeah,
from punk, and they're like, oh, you'll like this, and they showed me like Ceremony and Trash Talk, and I was like, oh yeah, this is
yeah.
my shit. So like
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah,
that was the stuff that like always kind of resonated with me, was like the fast, like more punk leaning stuff. But I like the more metal stuff too. When we started Scowl, what it was like in our area there was a lot of really heavy music going on, and it was like a year before COVID, and
yep,
Kat was like, I want to do a band, and I was like, all right, cool, like I want to play guitar in a band, and I didn't play guitar, so I
yeah. You
bought a
was,
guitar. Well, I borrowed one, and then eventually I bought one. But like, I borrowed a guitar and just like started practicing and learning like stuff. And I had played bass before, so I just was like, oh, you add your pinky and make a power chord, and like
yeah,
this is how you play guitar. So I just started writing stuff, and it's how the demo came about. And then after the demo was done, I was like, oh, we could do more. And then we did the EP, and like that was like how it led into doing the album. But it was all very like, to me, because I was like obsessed with like punk documentaries, like when I was a kid, I'd be like, all right, like I didn't get suspended from school this week, and my mom would be
yeah,
like, we could go to Blockbuster or
yeah,
Hollywood,
yeah,
and you could take
yeah.
so
You know
like
what? You
I
know
would
what?
get those.
It's refreshing what you're telling me, because it's rare. What, again, your mom's being a old school punk, that definitely helped, but you did the same thing I did. Not all like saying it's the right way or whatever. And I'm not from that Vinny Stigma generation. I came later. My first show was
Yeah.
in the late 80s, 88. To nowadays it may seem older, but to those guys, I'm like, you know, but but it was the same thing. It was like you know, I used to hear my brother, and I had a brother. My brother, rest in peace, but my brother was always into extreme music, so he loved punk. So I knew hardcore, right? So I used to be like, yeah, I like the exploited stuff, but it was like, and then I hear AF, and he goes, yeah, it's hardcore. And I'm like, yeah, they're punk, but I go, I'm not crazy about the Ramones, but what's that punk? I like that
Yeah.
GBH stuff. And he's like, yeah, that's punk. And then he would explain, blah, 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 would get into the whole, and I would learn. I was lucky to have that. But what you kind of did was the same way, which explained, which was good. It was the right time, and I'm a metal guy. It was the right time for hardcore to go back to that part of its roots. Because
Yeah,
I
I
think we
mean,
were
that's
getting too far metal where it was getting lost. When I swear, when I tell you, you guys go through, and I heard certain bands, I go, wow, and this is a newer band? Like, they how the fuck how do they got the aesthetics of what we did? Not like we did, but like the same DNA from the name. Even the name. I said, that's a name I could have sworn I seen on a demo as a kid. Not that I did, but it's it should be on a demo, then a 7-inch, then an album. Like it felt like everything I came up with. And I was like, man, how is this? That's why right away I said, I got to get Cat. I got to get whoever of them on. I said, man. And what I liked again, too, about the new generation with her, it was getting, now we're in a very political time. I stay away from all that because I got GED. I don't know shit. I know music. I know. But what was good that, it went from, with female, with the whole female thing, it went from, back in the day, a girl could act sexy. Then they got people flipped on them for trying to be sexy. And then it became, they would, people would get offended if you were trying to be too feminine. And then it got, what I liked was Cat came out feminine, but hard. And I was like, that's how you do it, because they ain't nothing soft and it don't seem fake and it was never a gimmick to me. I said that there's nothing wrong, because you know what it is. You could tell if that's what you're into. You could tell when somebody's faking something. They're into whatever they're into. You could tell when it's fake, and it didn't seem fake to me.
That's the thing is, like, we never were trying to be anything different. Like Kat, for example, like Kat is very just herself. You know what I mean? And like a lot of people like try to do this thing where like they try to like tokenize people that are femme-bodied and like be like, like female fronted hardcore isn't a genre. You know what I mean? And like tokenizing people and like making this whole thing, like she never subscribed to that. She does her own thing. She just plays music in her way and does what she does, and it's authentic to her. And she'll never let anyone tell her different, like for us, like we did things our way, and that's the way that seems to work for us. But that was a big thing is like people, when we came out, when a lot of bands I know, like people you'll hear like music writers or like people be like female fronted. It's like, shut the fuck up, man.
I agree.
This is what we do. And like people still say stupid shit and do stupid shit. And like, they want to like compare bands that don't sound anything alike because they're femme-bodied, or man, those people to me are the lowest level of music lovers, because they're not listening to the music. They're not looking at anything sonically. They just want to talk, and like for me, seeing that, but hearing people that like truly like yourself for something like truly paying attention to the music, that's what it is. It's not like people want to put things in a box and like tell people this, or like they want to try to act like they're paying attention, but they're not. They're trying to tokenize shit and make it something that it's missing the point. So that's why
exactly. A lot of people tend to get caught up with an aesthetic more than what the band's about. Like, it's cool. Yeah, but to me, I was just talking about it to somebody, one of my boys recently, about just in general, because I agree. I hate when they say, "Oh, you mean that female hardcore fronted band?" I go, "No, they're a hardcore band, and they have whoever has a female singer or whatever the singer be." I'm like, I want people to know this, and I'll never claim to be the old school guy. Like I said, I started going to shows in '88, and I know this from what I studied before me and after. There was always girls around. There was always girls in bands. There was always an Asian guy. There was always a Latin dude. There was always a black dude. So guess what? Nothing is new. So, I hate that now they make it, because in a cool way, I got to say, she started a little, obviously she got girls motivated. There's a lot of, since you guys, it seems like I started a lot of getting girls involved. But the band is, to me, which is cool. But when I saw the band, it wasn't about just her. It was the whole thing. I was like, how the hell this generation put it together? Like with, like you guys had to put your go hunting for artifacts and really do your deep diving. I could tell, from the aesthetics, the name. How did the name come up? Let's just start with that. Because I got all that. Again, I caught my eye, everything from the name, the aesthetic, the sound. I was like, man, real refreshing.
The name came because my grandma, when I zone out, I get like a scowl. And Pat, when she was like singing, like when we were first like practicing, she would get like a scowl. And I was like, yo, Scowl's a sick name, because like, everyone like gets this scowl on their face when they play, like, and throughout the whole band. So I was like, yo, what if we called ourselves Scowl? And that's just how it came through. And
that's funny.
we just stuck with it, and it seemed to work. And then over time, it more like the flower came in and like all that came in just because we were like sitting at the kitchen table and like we were just like making the demo art, because we just drew doodles and like put shit together on Photoshop and like kind of went about it that way. So it came about pretty naturally. It just came from things that were like that resonated around me and like the rest of the band. And that's like what we've tried to keep, like with the Psychic Dance Routine EP we just did, like the dancer in the crystal ball is my great grandma. Like we always try to like pieces of the band we try to keep from like our lives and our past and stuff, and like bring them into like things and like stuff that really resonates with us and is personal to us.
And like, how long the band, or is it all you joined the band, or how did it work? Who was together first, or did you guys? I know because what I like about your crew out there in general, like you just said, you played in bands with Tsunami guys or whatever. It reminds me a lot of what Trapped on the Ice, Turnstile, well, a lot of these bands where there were a group of friends that all mixed it, match, and they did the same thing. Some played a hard band, a melodic band, a rock band, an acoustic band. And I always liked that because I used to put ourselves in a box always like, all right, yo, it's just this, it's just this. And I'm like, why did we put I would put walls up on myself thinking, yo, I could do something different. There's nothing wrong with it, you know? But I guess it was a meathead mentality back then of just kind of like, yo, this is who we are. We got to put ourselves on the map. We just got to live, breathe this one thing. And then we miss, you know.
That came about just because Kat and I wanted to do the band. I played in a band with Cole called Jawstruck, and he played drums and I played bass in that. And then I was like, yo, you want to play drums in this project or like this band we're doing? And he was like, sure. And then the dudes from Drain actually filled in on bass until Bailey ended up playing bass in the band. And then now we have Mikey who plays second guitar. And at first I was like, fuck a second guitar, like Ramon style, like four-piece. Like that's how we play. And then what happened was just people kept unplugging me when they were stage diving. And then when you're a four-piece, it would kind of sound like shit because the guitar was cut out.
Trust me, I know.
I was like, fuck. And then Mikey was like, I'll play second guitar. And he lives in Philly. And he was just our friend. I had like known him through from booking shows and doing stuff. And like I used to book his band. And so I was like, yo, hop in on this tour. And if you still want to be in the band at the end of the tour, like this is what we're doing right now. We're touring a lot. And he's like, okay. And like someone was like, why didn't you get someone from your area? I was like, everyone who wants to tour is busy. You know what I mean? And like he's our friend, so it makes sense, you know, like because I think it was like, he lives far, and it's like, yeah, but like FaceTime's a thing if I want to write something with him. And then like this,
it's true.
He's like, if he's down and he's our friend, why not? That's kind of how the band keeps, like how the members came in, or anyone on like, you know, like anyone who does stuff when we're on the road, like TM or like sound or anything. It all came about by just being like, get in the van. You know, like you want to get.
That's usually how it is. You become this. Our tour manager was one of my boy. He played in another band. Right now, you're a tour manager. Now you're a merch guy. Yeah, exactly. You give people.
That's
Let me ask
how
you.
It came about.
I got this question that you might be able to help me out with, because you seem coming up with having your moms around and knowing the old stuff. You know what got me curious? Because you mentioned Drain, you guys, your era. And especially the California bands, a lot of colors in the artwork. Because you must know that looking at all the old school shit, you know, there wasn't that many colors. Like, I know, that's one of the things I notice about the newer bands. Like, they'll go full blast with a full, now you see, it's a thing. Now every shit, it's cool, which I love because it gets tiring, you know, black and white, you know.
Yeah.
But now, like, where did you think, you know, it was, because again, to me, it seems right. Nothing seems weird or out of place, but I would have never went that route till I saw all you guys doing it, and it seemed like, oh yeah, it seems right. Like, what you think it got colorful as far as artwork?
Yeah, the world's a colorful place, you know. So like, I
Yeah,
think
I
like for
guess.
us, we just
I
like
guess I'm glad you're telling me. I asked, and I
yeah.
asked Cat, I asked Jive Bomb, Cat from Jive also, because I said I'm in that older uncle zone. You know, I'm not the
Mhm.
father, grandfather guy. I like to be the cool uncle. So I like knowing. I ask these questions because I'm curious. That's why, and what you just said makes sense. It's a more of a colorful world because to me, I'm like, wow, it's a lot of colors, very bright in general. Not just you guys, like, you know, the drain artwork. A lot of the
Yeah,
artwork is just, it doesn't seem weird. I'm like, wow, it's just curious where it must have
yeah.
come. But the lay of the land makes sense.
It's, I mean, also like just art wise, like I think to be honest, you look at so many old flyers and it's like Xerox, like flyers, black and white, everything's
Same
black
shit.
and white. I think it just over time you were able to add more color. It was easier to add color to everything.
Yeah,
Like it's
true.
not like it's easier to print like
Yeah,
um
true.
flyers in full color at Kinko's real quick and
Yeah, you
stuff
know,
like
for
that.
sure. Back in the day, every color cost extra, even. Yes, I
Yeah, you
get it.
know,
Yeah.
it's gotten a lot more colorful and like I think bands like it transitioned to that over time. You know, it started out like black and white Xerox flyers and like single color shirts because everyone was doing it themselves. It was super DIY, but
Yeah.
over time people were able to learn like
Yeah.
how to do 5 color prints themselves and like
Hell yeah.
you know, I think it was just people from this all started like decades ago, right? And it all starts somewhere. So then over time, just more and more got
Yeah.
added, more things, more influences,
Yeah.
more
True.
like art, color stuff. So I
Yeah,
think it
definitely.
just
Because
morphed into this.
yeah, and it definitely California and Northern California has a big part to do with that. I definitely because I noticed that was a big thing with that movement in general. And let me ask you this: so you, Cat, everybody, you're like, all right, we're gonna start. We want to do a band or whatever. Now, sonically, where you have some songs, or where you told yourself, all right, we want to do some gritty punk, you know, hard. What was that? What was the concept with it? Did you have a concept, or you just had riffs already?
I just like I like punk and oi and hardcore and all this
Yeah.
stuff, but I liked fast. Like I like circle pits. You
Yeah.
know, I love circle pits and stage dives and side to side. So I wrote music instrumentally for that, but it morphed over time. We were never afraid to like experiment or like mess around with things. And I think as the playing, because like I didn't, like I said, I didn't play guitar
Yeah.
until the band started. So I think
That's
over
crazy.
time I was able to incorporate more influences. And for me, I never, everything was in such a broad, like the subgenres to me all morph together. So like when I listened to Minor Threat, but I also listened to Fugazi, which came from, you know, members of Minor Threat. So over time, the sounds
Yeah.
incorporated more stuff. You know, I love like Negative Approach, but I love the Breeders. I love Agnostic Front, but I love Sonic Youth.
Yeah,
And
that's
like
funny.
so
Yeah.
I wanted to incorporate everything over time. So it started out just very like punk, rudimentary punk, and then over time we just started bringing in more of our influences that really resonated with us and we really liked. And I've seen, I mean, that's nothing new because the Bad Brains did that. You know, they started out doing their thing and then they brought in
True.
like a reggae
Yeah,
influence,
yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
like
You grow. Yeah, you
you
learn how
had,
to play your instruments and shit.
yeah, you know, like Husker Du did that. You have Cro-Mags had like albums that like
Yeah, they do.
like over time they in like Agnostic Front, you know, Agnostic Front from the first two albums to Cause for
For
Alarm, like that was
alarm,
a big
absolutely.
transition. One Voice too, like
For sure.
that sonically that album changed a lot, you know,
Yeah.
and like changed a lot of it,
It's true.
changed the course the trajectory of hardcore. Like
Yeah, no,
that
no, for
album just
sure. And you're right. It's true. You know, you also it makes sense, and it's true. Like basically what you said. You know, you start learning how to play your instrument even more. Now you're
yeah,
grabbing more. You're able to play more and output more because you know
yeah,
that's true. Because even myself, I was always that idea guy, but performance wise, I couldn't always get it out then the more I learned, the more I studied the game because I'm into building songs. I wasn't worried about building my skill just as a bass player. It was always as a songwriter. I always wanted to build a song. Like, you know,
Same.
yeah, you know, and that's what I was going to ask you. Because it seemed when I would ask about when I was asking about the writing process, you know, your name came up a lot. When you're obviously, do you write a lot, all the stuff, some of the stuff, or what's the routine in the band as far as the music?
I wrote like as far as the riffs go and like song structures, like I do a majority of like that. But we all work together, you
Yeah,
know.
of
Like if
course.
there's been a couple of times I've been like, check this out, and they're like, dude, it's not it. I'm like, it's
Yeah,
it, and they're like, no, it's not. I'm like, all
I know.
right, like, but they everyone kind of has a hand in it at times, and it's been it's pretty collaborative when it can be.
Yeah,
I mean, I write, like I said, I'll usually show up to practice with like a fully structured song and like all the riffs, and then they'll be like, "Ooh, what if we try this? What if we try
gotcha.
that?" And
Yeah, you
like,
build it. Yeah,
you know, like it starts out with like the just the cake, but then you add the frosting, and you
yes.
maybe add another layer, like of
Yeah,
course
no, for
my
sure.
thing.
I do the same thing. I'm on the same boat. Like I usually would come in with a big bulk of it, and then but as a band we put it together, and then maybe
Yeah.
add a bridge or try something a different thing. For sure, that's the way. And I know your name came up as a songwriter, and that's crazy. Before guitar, you said I know you played bass. Was that
Mhm.
before guitar, or you played
Yeah, I
bass
played
at?
bass for guitar, which is probably why I play, I guess, what's been described to me as like percussively at times. Like I like making like
Yes, you
noises
do.
out of the guitar that's not just like the chord sometimes. So like
Yeah.
I think that comes from playing bass.
You know what I hear because that's what I do. I write on guitar, but I'm a bass player and I'm a shitty guitarist. I wrote 8 albums. I wrote 9 albums, and I don't know how many EPs with a bar chord. I know one chord, and that's it. So everybody
Yeah.
out there, you don't need all that shit. It's great to know them, but I was the same way. You know, I was more like. But it's funny you say that because Scowl's music is that it's a wall of riffs. It's not, riffs that are got a wideness and there's a little intricate things. It's always real heavy, straight walls of sound. There's a very I could hear it, and that's how I would write because I play as a bass player, and bass players push. We'll do the
Yeah.
bomb, 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 and I hear your riffs. It's like, you're pushing it, and that's something a bass player does a lot of times. You know what I mean? And I like
Yeah.
that style, but that's cool because before bass, how long did you play bass before you picked up the guitar?
Not very long. It was like I played in a band. It was like a year and a half. I played bass in, and then I borrowed a guitar from the other guitarist. Well, he left it at my house, and then I was like, "Hey, I'm playing on this. Can I borrow it for a little bit?" And then we started Scowl. So it wasn't super long. I think I just like I didn't play bass before that band too. So I
Wow,
got a bass to play
crazy,
bass in that band.
crazy.
So I don't know. I just kind of like that kind of style worked for me where I was like, I'm just gonna get the instrument and learn as I go. Cause
Yeah,
then you have to learn it. You can't just be like, I'll learn it tomorrow. It's like, oh, we have a show tomorrow. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I gotta learn it now. So like I just learned as I went and
Yeah.
like hoped for the best, but I practiced a lot, like get
Yeah,
home from work or school or whatever and practice. So that
yeah,
was like that was it. That's all it's kind of what I do. I mean, at home it's like compulsive now. I just always play guitar and like mess around on it. And like I think it's funny too because someone who comes from punk or like saw punk, that's very like I guess that's very common. Like, like that way, at least the old bands that I would read about and stuff, I
yeah,
wasn't there, but I'd heard that's kind of how you did it. And so I was like, I think that's how you end up playing the way. If you start that way, you can kind of develop your own style without too much of getting stuck in like the rigid box of
yeah.
this
That's
is
true.
what needs to be there. And it's
Yeah,
all kind of like what sounds cool to you.
yeah. No, no, for sure. I think that's why I was later on I appreciated that I was very primitive with my playing because my ideas were big, so I had to figure it out. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I had to figure out how because we always had to compete with a big metal band. You know what I mean? But I'm like, yo, we got to rep the hardcore thing, but we got to be able to hang. All right, what are they doing that we could do? Oh, we got to play tighter. That's something the old punk bands didn't do. Punk bands used to have the right attitude, but maybe they weren't the tightest. Why does Metallica sound like Metallica? All right, they not always the full of soul, but man, they're tight as hell. Okay, when Metallica plays a GBH song, a Discharge, you're like, okay, now we hear something, a meeting that's making sense because they're playing something that has soul. Now you're playing it a little technical. Okay, now you're like, okay, we could do this, we could push that, and it's crazy. And when is it you start about it? Scowl starts about a year before the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you're playing. When do you feel like, okay, wow, this thing is, because you've had bands, right? And you also know, it ain't always the easiest thing to get your name out there, for a band. You know what I mean? You can have the best band in the world. It doesn't mean, people, you got to get people to care and all that. When did you feel the momentum coming? Because again, I felt a lot of that, the Gulches, the You Guys, the Tsunamis a while ago before those shows. Because I felt, you could just, people were buzzing, new aesthetics, new look, the new sound, new old sound kind of, and new. Where you think you saw Scowl? Man, I see some momentum in this. This band got a little something that's popping right now.
I noticed people were like singing along, and before the pandemic, we did a West Coast tour and it did really well. Literally the last day, we woke up the next morning and the country shut down and there was like everything was closed. I was like, oh shit. Okay. So that's I noticed that people seemed into it. So that was cool. I'm always in the mindset where I'm like never sure if people like us. I'm just hoping. So it's I don't know. We just were stoked that people seemed to care and we just kept going. So I think it was like right before the pandemic, and then after the pandemic, we started playing shows again and started doing well, and then we released the album, and it was people seemed to like it, and we kept touring a bunch.
Because I'll tell you, you know this because you've played in the band. You've done a lot in a short time, which is great. The timing of the world. It's such a shitty time of the world. It was good that I said it. A lot of people said it. Hey, there better be a lot of new bands and a lot of old bands with new songs because you got a lot to write about. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that went on. So it was good that, again, right now that's the lay of the land. It's that new movement. I don't even like saying new movement because I feel like I'm trying to talk like, no, some new jackets. No, just the new wave, the next generation. I was part of a newer generation when we first came, and but it's good. It's good that that it took, that's some real punk shit. It came out of the real world shit going on. I wasn't, when I was a kid, that whole when punks were against Reagan and whatever, I was too young for that. And again, I'm not a political guy, but okay, the punk had something, really? All right, now you could kind of back it. There was nothing more punk rock, hardcore than the world shutting down and everybody trying to figure the shit out and trying to rebuild.
Yeah. Right? I mean, that was I got the whole reason we even had an LP is again, at that point, I hadn't even played guitar for a year. So I wrote the LP on the couch because I got home and the restaurant, I was working in the kitchen and they're like, we're shut down. So I just sat on the couch and tried to do something productive. And that LP was done and recorded a year before even longer, maybe before it came out. So by that time I was like, fuck, I already learned some new stuff. Wish I could do some more shit on that one. But then we did the EP and all of that. It was just productive time, using your time that you could. And with COVID, and everything going on in the world, I do think it's cool to see so many hardcore bands and so many kids coming to hardcore shows because I think they need it. It's a frustrating place and it's a very wild place right now. And there's a lot of shit going on and there's a lot of things to be angry about. And so what better thing than getting out there and yelling about it, you know? And like
Yeah.
to see when we played shows, when we were doing shows, like because I booked a lot of shows pre-COVID and then after COVID. And you would, if we had a band come and like 100 kids showed up pre-COVID, we were like, whoa, this is nuts. Now I'm watching my friends sell out like 1,000 cap rooms. And I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like, if we saw a band come and sell out Gilman, we thought they were the biggest band in the world. Now I'm watching my friends do like massive tours, headlining like over the US and selling out rooms
Everywhere.
like 3 times the size. And like, that's pretty insane to me that like hardcore and punk is in a place like that. Cause I remember when I was like, broke as shit. A band would come through. I'd give them all the door money, and then like if I thought that was light, I would pay money out of my pocket just to get a gas. You know what I mean? Like you had to do that, and like we just did it because we loved it, you know, and we still do it because we love it, and like it's from the scene. Like everybody in my band helped run shows and like was a part of the scene and like ran door and stuff like that. Like everyone in Scowl did that pre-COVID and continue to help out when we need help. And like they to see music now to a place where like I can see my friends touring full time, and like it just makes me really happy because I remember 6-7 years ago, I remember being like 13, 14, and for some reason churches would always have the most violent shows in the world at that point. So I'd go to like some church that was having like Donnybrook play. How the fuck is this lineup here? And then you go and like the room was like, you know, there's a good amount of kids, but it's not like what it is now. And like what it is now is really beautiful. Like it's really cool to see. I've seen like a few people I know, like friends of mine are like their bands are in like Taco Bell commercials or like they're like, you know, or I get to see them doing like stuff where like they're living their dream, and like to see that is a really beautiful thing because it comes from a very authentic place. And like, you know, there'll probably be bands that start up that don't come from hardcore or punk, and they see it's popular and they start it up because they want a piece of that. But like whatever, because like there's a lot of people that come from it that are crushing, you know. And
no, for sure. I was saying the same thing. Obviously people could see it right now. It's a fucking crazy time. It's a great time too, like, you know. I'm like saying, you know, like for people, for bands that are out there working it, you know, it's a good time. You could stay busy. If obviously you got to still have songs and, you know, there's more to it. You just don't put out a band and it works. You know, people don't understand that either. They think also, it popped up this. Overnight isn't really overnight. You know, people think overnight, you know, they don't see, you know, like I heard the best thing. I said, being in the band is, I go, being in a band is the job, but everything that comes with it is the work, the traveling, all the bullshit we got to deal with. Being on stage is fun. That's play.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's the job. Yeah, we're music, but the work or everything that comes with it to do that 45 minutes, to do that 1 hour or whatever it is, you know, people don't understand. Let me ask you this. You guys did, you did Roskilde, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just so you guys know, salute to you guys. We did. That's off the grip. Like, because I hear you talking about, you know, the other friends bands that are doing great, but you guys are doing great too. Let me just tell you, people don't just get on Roskilde like that.
Dude, that was a fun one. It was funny too, because we didn't know, like, sometimes we'll play these fests and we'll show up and it's like, we play like 25-30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
That's like a typical hardcore set. They'll be like, don't go over the time. We're like, oh, we play like 30 minutes. They're like, perfect. And then like you'll go there and like in Europe they want you to play longer.
Oh yeah, you like, guys let me tell you, you guys need you guys need a lot more.
We're gonna add some stuff next time we go and play some fest because we didn't know it was like, yo, like you could play for 45 minutes here, and they love that. I was like, the attention span here, because if you play for 45 minutes and you're not like a headliner, like we're like, get off the fucking stage, man. You're overstaying. You know what I mean? Like 20-minute sets are common.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was going to say. That's something the new generation is common. What you just said. Yeah. For us, it was opposite. Yeah, we would go on back in the day, they used to be like, the contract says an hour and a half. We're like, who you think we are, Led Zeppelin? We'd have to play our set. Look at our first, I don't know how many albums. They didn't even reach 30 minutes. That's why we did intros and we did this, because on contract, you had to do a minimum of 30 minutes. We would put interludes, space them out more. We would do everything. We're like, yo, we're a hardcore band. It's not about that. But you guys are at a position, and Europe is like that because Europe, they want their show. They want to get their money's worth. But Europe is going to be with you. Like, they're like, nah, that's our band. But you gotta, you gotta show them like, okay, we didn't have that, but now we're back. You wanted more. We got more.
Yeah, that's what we're doing this time around.
For sure. No, and you guys it's good that you guys started making out there. I saw that your first time in Europe was the UK first?
We did, first time in Europe was last summer. We played the UK, but then we came back to the UK later on in the year. So the first time in the UK was Outbreak, and we played some other one-off shows, and then we were doing like a Euro tour, but it was like a lot of fests, and then there was like some other stuff going on. But then we played we went to, what was it? We went back to the UK with Stick to Your Guns, and then some one-offs, and then we went back to the UK earlier this year on like our own headline tour.
That's what I saw. Sick.
That sold out like almost every night, which was insane to me because we didn't expect that. And like we were like so thankful for that. And then now we're going back for a full European tour in like 2 weeks. We're doing that. There's some fest, there's one-offs, or there's like club shows, there's some other stuff. That one I'm really excited for. We got some pretty big fests on that one, like Pukul Pop, and then we got like Sonic Blast. That's last year, Fluff Fest. We have
and those aren't, again, not every band gets on those. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I'm super grateful. Like Reading and Leeds is one that I've always heard of, so I'm excited for that one. Like that one's like,
for sure. Let me tell you, Pukul Pop. I know that since the 90s. Mab would never been able to play one of those. But I'm saying that since then, that was like Red Hot Chili Peppers. You know what I mean? Like, Pukul Pop is huge. Like it's great. But you saying that right now, even when I saw you guys did Ross Killed, I was like, oh man, that's great. Because again, handful of bands could do it. It just doesn't mean because you're buzzing and whatever. Yeah, all that helps. But that still don't mean you could play certain things, because some of these fests don't care. They got to also, you got to have something. Somebody got to like you. And they got to, they got to also say, okay it. You know what I mean? Like it's still so. When they had picked up, when they asked us, I was like, this is crazy. Even if they asked us to play the parking lot, I would never think they would have. Then when I think Tara did it, I saw you guys, and I was like, that's what it needs, because when we played, it was like the Gorillas. It was bad. Dua Lipa. It was like crazy. Like all pop stuff. But like who played that? Yeah, who played that day when you played them?
The headliners were like Queens of the Stone Age and Kendrick Lamar. So like we've been playing some of those fests where like it's like a mix of everything, and honestly I love that, because like I think that the mixed bill is very important. I think that blending all the different types of music on a bill, that's important, and like you shouldn't just listen to one type, because you should, you need all the different types. And like listening, if you're a musician too, like if you listen to just one type of music, it's cool because like you're like, this is my shit, and I love that. Like I love punk and hardcore, but I also like rap and indie music and metal, and like I like reggae, and I like I like oi and this and that, and like I like all that stuff. I love country. I listen to country all the time. It's like all that stuff is important to listen and like hear different stories and see different like ways to play it, and like I think it's cool. So having these opportunities to play fests where I'm like, yo, I get to go watch Kendrick Lamar after we play, like, oh, Queens of the Stone Age, that stuff's like, I don't know, that's really cool to me. I love that. We've played some fests where it's been like there's like 3 other hardcore bands on it, and that was it. And it was really cool to go out there and they're still moving like it's a hardcore
Yep.
show. They're still circle pitting. They're still crowd surfing. They're still
Yep.
like they're still two stepping. Like there's they know what's up and like they get down and like that's just because it's music lovers. It's not
Yeah.
just like I love music and this music speaks to me. Like
And that's exactly what Europe was. In the early days back then when we were first going, it was exactly that. There was 4 or 5 hardcore bands that did everything. It was Agnostic Front, Sick of It All, Madball. It was a handful, maybe Gorilla Biscuits, whoever was around. But that was like, and it was very common. We were the only hardcore band. The thing that kind of I think hurt those days a little bit. Now it's coming back again where the big mixed bill is. The hardcore movement got so big and popular out there that so many bands were coming through that now these festivals, instead of having, we're just going to have Scowl and this, now they go, wait a minute, since we got Scowl, we got Terror, we got Knock Loose playing, you know what, let's do a hardcore stage. So now it's a hardcore stage, which sometimes is dope. But I remember playing. We played. It was Lowlands Festival in Holland back in the day. Now on our stage, I forgot who it was, but then it was Los Lobos who did La Bamba, Madball, and Korn. The other stage was Buju Banton. The Far Side was on another stage. And it was insane. And everybody was vibing on all the other bands. The Los Lobos guys went nuts when we played. Vice versa, we go see the reggae shit and bug out. Everybody, and then the next thing you know, you go write a record. You're like, hold on, I got an interlude idea. Let's try some Jamaican shit. I remember and then, and definitely. And I think it's cool to hear that you guys you're getting a chance to do that, to be on the fest where it ain't just like put them on a hardcore stage, put them on the punk stage. No, put us on for everybody.
Yeah, it's been cool and like it's been received. Like at least from my perspective, the crowd's been receiving it when we play. So like I'm very thankful for that. So it's been cool. Like and like to see that and like to have people react in a way, or like I've had people be like, "Yo, I've never heard hardcore before." Like we did I like what you're doing, and they start listening to more stuff, which is really cool to me. And like. Another thing that's funny is like we've done a lot of tours where like we were the hardcore band on the tour, but it was a mixed bill, right?
Yeah.
And our goal is to go out there and like give it our all. And like maybe people fucking hate us. Maybe they're like, fuck this band. And that's fine. But they might pull it up to talk shit and like tell their friend, like, yo, I fucking hate this band. And then they accidentally click on like a more like this band and they like one of those bands. Cool. At least you're listening to hardcore and you found something you like, and that if we got you there by either loving or hating us, at least you're here now, because I think hardcore is cool and has like a lot of important messages that people should hear. And like people, you could learn a lot from it, like the community, the DIY aspects, the community, especially. Like I got so many friends that like I could call right now and be like, yo, I need help moving a couch. And they'd be like, I'm there. You know what I mean? Like you build real long-lasting friendships and you learn a lot. I learned a lot from the community that like made me a better person. So I think that if I can do anything and I can help, if I could go out and play a mixed bill and it does speak to people in a good way, or like in a way, like I said, where they're like, maybe I don't like this band, but I like a band that I can find on their Spotify's or something like that. Then that's a win to me, like that means you're here, you're coming and like you're giving it a chance.
Listen, everything you said, that's great. Like that's exactly how I feel. And I'm happy that you're saying that because you guys are some of the people in the front of this new generation, some of the people driving the new generation, the upfront people, people are looking at you guys and, okay, what are these guys are about? And I'm glad you said that and that you feel that way because I agree. And it's like, we got to sure it's about our music. We're expressing ourselves. We do our bands how we want it, blah, blah, blah. But it's good to not forget where we come from. And it's good that you do that because people are looking, exactly, the new generation are going to look at you guys as you're our a Bad Brains. Scowl is our AFs, our first entrance to this shit. And it's good that is still, that message got to be pushed. That, look, you don't got to like us, but know where it comes from and know that, yeah, it's more than the bands. These people, you eat from it. They live together. We all live together. We slept on each other's couches. But that's why we play in a band, because he was next to me. He just happened to be by, it's good that people know this, that it's not just, oh, I put up a sign, or, oh, yeah, my manager put us together. Oh, I know these, a couple of, that's cool too. I don't hate, but that's part what makes it, that the community part is what I don't want to get lost. Stigma really pushed that on without pushing it, made it. I realized how important it was. I was like, man, this is bigger than what any of the one band does, is the community part of this. What I say is, being a hardcore kid is a superpower, meaning, you see a Slayer shirt, a Metallica shirt, or whatever, but now you see a Last Resort shirt, you see an AF shirt, you see a certain, a Drain shirt. You go, okay, you could connect the dots now. Like, I might know somebody, It's more than just a genre. You know what I mean? Like, I almost know your mentality's either that way or this way. It's crazy to know that by a T-shirt. You can't do that with every scene and genre.
No, you can't. And that was, we were talking about earlier too, is it's so broad. Like, I can see someone wearing, see kind of what they like, and like they come in from, everyone has different avenues getting into hardcore, whether it's punk, whether it's like maybe they found like kind of the more deathcore side of things, and that got them into it, more metal. There's a little something for everyone, and there's like in this thing. I think it's cool because like it's so broad. There's so many tastes of music. I think it's wild. I think the only thing that I think is funny, I guess, is when they compare. Like, they'll try to compare. Like, you can't compare us to Drain, because sonically we're different. We're all homies and we hang out, and like we play shows together. Those are my dudes, and they're amazing. But like sonically, it's like it's different. Nothing. So like if you're like, I don't like this band, but I like this band, it's like, oh, you like that style. That style is your style. That's sick. Yeah. You know what I mean? You don't have to like this style. But I think the comparing of all of them is funny. When like I see lately, I've noticed that, like, I'll like look at something and I'll be like, how are you trying to compare this? Like, you realize there's all these different influences and it's so broad. Yeah. And I feel like when people, the mindset, like what you're saying is like, I can look at someone and be like, oh, sick. You got a Madball t-shirt on. That's sick. I love Madball. Like you got an AF shirt on, like you got a Cold as Life shirt on, or
exactly.
You got Bad Brains, or you got like a Hoax tee or something. You know what I mean? Like, all that stuff is so sick. And like, I think that my one hope is, as all these bands are playing on, I hope that it broadens everything, and there's less like, well, I don't know, I like this band, but they don't sound like this band. I prefer bands that sound like this. It's like, cool. Then that's sick. You should should listen to those bands.
I think from like the whole Turnstile, you guys, nothing sonically same, but being that energy where it's a group of people that made up a big part of the scene in those cities were like that. A bunch of friends that always played music and loved it. You can't deny it. You could tell it's authentic. You could feel it. You know what I mean? Same thing with you guys, everybody out there. I think why some people may say that is because a lot of the new bands popping are from area in California. So automatic, they must sound the same. They probably live on the same block. They think, back in the day, they thought every New York hardcore band lived in the Lower East Side, So I know how it goes, And I'm like, they used to say, oh, you guys are like this band. And we're like, yo, we sound nothing like them. But it didn't matter. You're like, oh, you're a tough guy band. So it was this, or you're this, whatever. The people that know, because exactly, that's the one thing. Another thing I like about the movement there, that nobody sounds the same, Yeah,
exactly. It's important.
It's important, and it's hard, because I thought it couldn't be done, because I thought, I was like, man, it's so lost.
That comes from just all of our backgrounds and how we got into it. Like, Tsunami sounds like Tsunami because of the people in that band and what they love and what they came from. And Drain sounds like Drain because of the stuff that influenced them growing up. Like Gulch sounds like Gulch because of what influenced them, or Spy sounds like Spy. We sound like us because of what influenced us, and like what it kind of comes from, like we were all into punk and like and hardcore and like all this stuff. And so, but we're, some of our newer stuff, for example, like we're influenced by Negative Approach, but like I love Sonic Youth, I love Veruca Salt, I love stuff like that. So it all kind of blended together to where what we have right now. And Drain, when they first started, I remember like I saw them pretty early on because we were booking shows together, and like I was playing with like older bands I was in and stuff like that. So they I could tell like over time they've turned into like the Drain they are now, and that's beautiful. Like when you see bands evolve and like grow based off of like they're like, yo, I love this, but I love this, like, and they hone their sound. I think that's amazing. Like I see that with a lot of the bands, and like, or people played in a bunch of bands before they landed on the band that makes the most sense for them. And that's for us, because I think we all hang out together, but it's pretty diverse and we all have different musical tastes. I think that's why the bands all sound different, but that energy and that fun, like if you're all in a room with all of us and you're hanging out, like it's the same energy. You know what I mean?
No, I totally know. Cause we had that, every generation that when everybody was on the New York thing, it was the same thing. We had, a lot of different bands, but from the Madballs, the Bulldogs, the Crown of Thorns, the Fahrenheit 4, the Burns, you had every flavor, but it was exactly. It was like a good energy. What's funny? You said something earlier when you mentioned the Breeders. I actually robbed one of their riffs. It's the end of Set It Off. Well, it's kind of so they had that song Cannonball. You remember it was a huge song.
Yeah, I love that song.
So the riff goes doom doo doom doo doom, right?
Yeah.
Doom doo doom. So me and Maddie Henderson, we used to laugh, jam out to the song. It would stick in our head, and I would always like fuck around with it, laughing, and I would jam that riff, doom doo doom doo doom, and then I was writing Set It Off, and we needed an ending. So the ending, I'm trying to like figure out what the hell am I gonna do, and I was fucking around. The video comes on, and I'm start going doom doo doom doo doom, and I keep playing doo doom doo doom doo dum doo dum doo dum doo dum, and it ended up being the end of Set It Off. I go, Maddie, I bit the Breeders riff, and to this day. A quick one more story. We're doing Hazen Street. We're rehearsing in L.A. Who's rehearsing there? The Breeders, the Bengals. I got to hear, I was on their door listening to the Breeders play that song through the door like a little kid. I was like, oh shit, they played the jam. It's pretty crazy.
They rip. I saw them. We played a fest with them earlier this year, and I watched them both weekends that we played because it was the same lineup for 2 weekends.
Cool.
We played, Coachella. Yeah,
that was dope. Fun. That's another thing. Great. The same thing with Knock Loose. You guys, I said, that's good because now it's been done. Like now,
dude, what's cool about that is like for Knox Loose, they were like, I was like, what's up? And like I've known those dudes, they're all fucking awesome. And they're playing, and I start throwing, I'm waiting, and it's like I know, like I was like, the stage is kind of high, and they're I'm waiting for like kind of the ender part of the set so I could watch the whole set, and then I'm just throwing stage dives the whole time because like I was like, I'm gonna stage dive for my friends, like, but I want to make sure I can supposed to set in case I eat shit and I'm passed out. Or I was like waiting, but they fucking ripped, man. They were sick. That fest was awesome because I didn't know what would happen. I didn't know if people would look at us and walk out, but it was pretty popping. Like people were circle pitting, people were stage diving. It was sick. Like I was like, whoa, like this is awesome. And then
was the festival people? Was the festival good with you guys? Were they cool with you guys? The people itself like that. That's great.
Coachella, like everyone and the people involved in that come from punk too, like the people who like kind of started it and everything, and like all of them are so nice, man, and like they were really cool to us. I've played some fests where like I've shown up and like we didn't even have like places to put our shit, and I've played some fests like there. They really took care of us. They made sure we were good. Extremely nice people. Very welcoming. Roskilde was like that too,
Same
like
thing,
I played some fests where they were like extremely they're nice, or like maybe there was like there wasn't a lot like areas because it's so packed, but like how welcoming and how like accommodating those fests were was like really cool
great.
and a great experience. And I'm so thankful we got to play. Like that was a huge thing for us. Like that to be like, holy shit. Like, and then I go and get to watch, like I got to watch Blondie. I love Blondie.
That's
It's one
great.
of
Oh
my
yeah, I
favorite
love it
songs.
too. That's
I went and
great.
watched Blondie. I went and watched like a bunch of bands playing, watched like Blink played, like, you know, like to go and see bands that I grew up on and like to play the fest and then like hang out and just chill. It was a really cool weekend. I went though every day. So I went the day before we played, the day we were I went every day, both weekends. And I watched
got your money's worth. You got your Scowl bucks worth.
Dude, I have never came from money. I never really had money. So I never thought I would be able to afford to go to a lot of these fests. So when I'm there, I'm more of like the spectator, like, oh my God, this bit, like all of us are like, we go after we play, we get our stuff and we like all get together and we go and like, all right, where's these bands? Like, let's go over here. We'll break off and we'll all like, we make plans of it. Cause like, we just want to fucking see all these bands. Like we're truly just music nerds that love to see all these bands and we love all this music. So I'm super thankful that I get to watch all these bands that I love and like I get to see my friends like rip it up and then I'm like, oh shit. Like it's cool when you're in another country and you're like, dude, what's up? Like and you're all playing with the best. Like that shit's sick. Like
it's great. For sure, you know, you get to do something that you would have done for free in you know in a parking lot in a garage, and now people are flying you to a country and treating you good, and you get to do it with your friends. This is why I love this shit, and I'm glad you're getting to experience that. I could tell, you know, you're enjoying it, what you should, because sometimes some people forget to enjoy themselves. Like, you know, like everything about it. There's more, of course, but you see the show, like moments like that, like. Yeah, you're gonna be in a cool city. They're gonna treat, but to be able to see your friends that you would have seen, that you guys would have thought you would have never left the neighborhood. Now you're in another country and you have a backstage. You're eating food together. You know, I know how that feels. It's a great feeling. Let me ask you this before we get out of here. I want to ask you this, Scowl. Moving forward, what is it that you want? What's the next plan for Scowl, and what is it that you want to like? What you want to leave people with? When it's long gone, you know, whenever that decides to be.
Hopefully never, but you know, like currently we got like these tours coming up. We got like Europe, and then we got the headline tour with military guns on it. We got MS Paint, Big Laugh, and then made sure.
See you guys in Florida, by the way. This time I'm gonna. You guys are playing Miami, and I'm in town. Last time I was out of town, so you're playing Gramps in Miami, so I'll be rolling up.
Hell yeah, dude. We'll make sure you're taken care of. That's I'm stoked. Like that's gonna be. We purposely rooted to Miami too. They have such a sick scene. Like in the driving, like you're like, I was like, we have to hit Miami because it's such a cool scene there, and like they have like all kinds of like sick ass bands. Shout out to Jeff and Equinox out there.
Yeah, I missed your show because I left, but then I saw Gramps is a great spot. You guys you got a good turnout, great turnout, and again, Miami had a scene. It kind of died off, and it's good that it's back. Seeing you guys, AF had a great show. You guys, so it's good that the energies spread evenly. With just in general, the scene is good. Like it could be good with the right things. And I saw you guys are coming, so I'm glad I'm gonna be popping up. But you got that tour, new record. Like I was saying, you want people to remember Scowl. When you guys are gone, meaning even off this planet, what you want to leave your mark with the band?
So, if like musically, we've been doing like the last EP, like we kind of mixed some stuff up, and we, you know, I love that people are singing along and seem to like it, and like I love anything that we've done that when people sing and like have fun, that energy is really important to me, and when it all is said and done. Whether people are like, yo, fucking, like, I love this shit, I hate this shit, whatever it is, I do want them to know, like, if it's not the songs, which I hope it is, I hope people love the songs and they outlast us, you know, of course, like, you know, if I'm dead in the ground, I hope people can still sing along to a song I was a part of, and like that song and that fun attitude, but more the energy of the song is like, it's all about fun and what you want to do, and like, you can do it, you know, like for me, it's like, I picked up a guitar and I did these songs, and now I get to, I'm not like an amazing savant guitar player that like is changing the world, but I'm just trying, and like that attitude, that fun, and that just like go for it attitude. I want that. I want people to resonate with that and be like, if they could see like maybe some kid like 50 years from now or something, it's like, I don't know if I should do a band, but he hears like, yeah, you could do it. That band, like half of them didn't even play instruments. And then like they toured a bunch and stuff. Like you can do it if you just try. Then like, I want that. I want that to be a thing. Cause the Germs did shit like that. And like, I was like, yo, like they did it. Like maybe I should do that. And then I get to tour now. So like, it's just like, go and like, don't give a fuck. Do what feels natural to you. Have fun and like, just go for it. That's what I want that energy to be left there. And then, hopefully some songs they're singing along too. So like,
yeah, listen,
hopefully
we couldn't have ended this any better. What you said to a T is, again, I'm glad that you have the right head on your shoulders. And I'm glad that it's one of the front runners of this new scene, because that's very important what you say. And I could tell you were raised right. For the point is, I salute to your parents. Hopefully they weren't abusive. But why I think they did right by you, I could tell. I'm the same way. You're looking at the bigger picture. Like, sure, we want to do great. We love to feel the pat on the back. All that's great. We know if we do what we're gonna do, that could come with it, and that's great. But the bigger picture is like, yeah, we're having a good time. I want people to know that they could do it. All that shit you're saying is right, and it's very necessary, because this music is about that. It was made because people said, you can't do it. You can't do it. And then all these people said, we're going to show you we could do it. Now we're going to do it our way. You may not like it, but it's how we like it. And that's why the Metallicas and the biggest stars have an AF, a corrosion conformity, a misfit sticker. Because at the end of the day, they know where the soul comes from. But listen, Malachi, I'm glad I finally got you. Again, I'm rooting for you guys. Whenever something's new, you know what's up. I'm going to see you guys in Florida. We'll talk more crap there. We'll talk some shit. I got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. But everybody, make sure you go support. Let everybody know where they could get the merch or the Instagram. Let everybody know what's up.
Scowl 40831 is where you'll find us on Instagram, Twitter. We got all
the merch.
You'll find
and the merch. We can find the merch there.
Yeah, scowl40831.com. There's merch there, and then there's links in our bios and stuff like that, so you can find the music, you can find the merch, you can find, I love when my preferred thing is like, come to a show, love to say hi, buy some merch or whatever. That's like, it's my thing. But you can find all of our stuff there. You can find everything in our bios on our Instagrams and Twitters and stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely everybody, because some people, they get, they have to wait till you come into town, so they want to represent ahead of time. So make sure you go get this up. Go get that. Listen, Malachi, again. And by the way, I was laughing with Kat because on paper, when I saw the name, I was like, is it Malachi? Because I knew there was the Malachi brothers from Happy Days, these two Italian guys. They were the bad guys. And she started dying. I was like, no, it's Malachi. I was like, I know Children of the Corn, but I keep seeing Malachi. So every time I see your name when you're on the text, I was like, yo, the Malachi brothers are hitting me. So it's like, but anyway.
I hear that every day for coffee. They're like, Malachi? I'm like,
yeah. You're like, all right. But I want you to Google, everybody out there, Google the Malachi brothers. They were hard. They were on Happy Days. But listen, I'll let you know when this drops. Shout out to freaking Scowl. Shout out to Malachi. Shout out to the Malachi brothers. Smokin Word TV. We in the building. We out of here. Yo, one love. We out.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Be safe, bro.